Welcome to the Registry Insider. I'm Bill Seifarth, CEO and Executive Director for the National Registry of EMTs. And on today's episode, we are talking about the value of advanced EMT accreditation. And joining me is none other than the Executive Director of CoAEMSP himself, Dr. George Hatch. Thank you,
my friend. How are you doing?
Doing quite well.
Awesome.
And we're filming here from your conference, Accreditcon,
Yes,
in Anaheim, California, and having a good time and a really great turnout, great educators, program directors coming together to advance CMS education, accreditation, exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is good, and I think it's an opportunity. It was interesting to learn that 2/3 of these folks that were here are literally brand new or less than a year in their position as program directors. So there's constantly, I think, an opportunity for people to learn more about what they're responsible for, and it's a tough job, but it's a great job that they're doing.
Yeah, turnover of program directors is definitely a challenge facing nationwide.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about certainly the topic du jour, and that's advanced EMT. Obviously, CoA recently, after a lot of public comment and feedback and a defined need, developed standards for advanced EMT education programs, and it's in place now. How's it going? And what's tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first off, it's going well, and this was, as you know, not something that was done quickly. It actually took years of kind of the lead up to all of that, where NHTSA's Office of EMS had a revision of the National EMS Scope of Practice. It goes back to 2018. They published those in 2019, and we were asked at that report out session, could you do this by January 1 of 2025? And you're looking back on that and hey, that's 7 years. We'll have to look at that, but maybe we could. And of course, then we know that the world turned on its ear and we had COVID, and that looked a little bit more interesting, but we were able to get all of that stuff done. And I would just tell you, I'm really, really happy with the response. And we're getting programs not just from a single state where they're going to require it, but we're actually getting programs from all over the country. And that's exciting.
Voluntary too.
It is voluntary.
So despite it being voluntary, you're getting them from all over the country. So there's clearly an interest, there's clearly a need, and it's obvious that people see value with accreditation.
Yeah, I think, again, you and I talk a lot about this in presentations that we do or that we, cross paths on. And this is a public protection issue. And really in our lane, we're looking at student protection, right? Mm-hmm. So how are students protected when they're going through this? I think, interestingly, looking at much of the statistics that the National Registry has as we look forward about AEMT accreditation, how are people doing in that space? And the answer was, in some places, it's a coin flip, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you got a 50-50 shot of passing the registry exam at the AEMT level. And you got to ask yourself, why is that? Mm-hmm. So there's probably a lot of reasons why that is.
Well, my hope is that as you progress with more and more people coming on board and you start to see, hopefully, some differences between accredited advanced EMT programs and non-accredited programs.
Yeah, I think, again, in the paramedic space, the organization, the CoAEMSP, has been around since 1978. And, we've got nearly 800 paramedic programs. And in some states, they required accreditation. They were early adopters, but that's been going on for, almost 50 years. Yeah. So we really didn't have, if you will, a clean slate looking at that. With this amount of programs that may be coming forward, 300, 400, 500, 600 programs at the advanced EMT level, potentially, you have kind of a clean slate of where were they before and where might they be after the accreditation process. And keep in mind, accreditation is not supposed to be punitive. It's really a quality assurance process where you're looking at yourself and you're kind of polishing the stone and saying, how can we get better? Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about.
So
how can we make it better?
Mindset of continual improvement under the guise of we're doing this to advocate for the students.
Absolutely.
I mean, advanced EMT students, paramedic students, they don't know what questions to ask as far as is this a decent program, education program, or is it not a decent program? And that's where accreditation makes a difference.
It does. And I would tell you, you could go out right now onto our website at www.coaemsp.org And on that, you could go to the, find an accredited program, and you could click on that, and you could search by profession, but we want you to search by emergency medical services. And when you do that, you can look at that paramedic program, or in this case, that advanced EMT program in the future, and you could see the current status and what their results are. How do they do on the National Registry exam? What are their job placement rates? And what's their attrition and retention? You start with this many students. How many students do you finish with? And that's the key, right? I mean, if you start with 50 students, you hope that you're going to get 50 graduates that are going to pass the exam, and they're going to go out there and they're going to be successful practicing as advanced EMTs or paramedics.
So the value of accreditation for AEMT, I think so far you've hit on the fact that, one, it's a benefit in that it protects the students, but two, it allows for the quality education. So, it's not just the students who benefit from it, it's the public, as you said, because if education is quality, patient care there's a strong correlation, hopefully, that there's going to be a higher patient care as well.
Yeah. I think that's the case. And nobody wants you showing up at the door and not being adequately prepared. So, when the practitioner walks in to the bedside, they want to feel confident in the knowledge, skills, and attitude that they have to be able to do the job. The public certainly wants to believe that person, that AEMT or that paramedic are adequately prepared. They're not really going to probably be asking a lot of questions about that. They're making an assumption that they've done all of those things that they had to do to get to this point. So I think the accreditation pathway and that process is really looking at generically a lot of different things, and how involved is the medical director, how adequately are the graduates prepared, how good is the room and the space that they're in, right? Their facilities, how about their equipment, what about their student record keeping? There's a lot of things to that, and really I think when you boil it all down, it's how does this program get better than it was the next time? What are the opportunities for us to improve the educational outcomes? Because I don't think anybody wants to be static. I don't think anybody really wants to be average. I think everybody wants to be great. How do we do that? And I think accreditation is valuable in that way.
So a lot of values to accreditation for advanced EMT. We said the student, the public, the education program itself, the state offices as well, because they have a constitutional responsibility to ensure that. So as a nonprofit yourself, you're relieving that burden from government and doing it in a very focused way with a lot of expertise. So what are your numbers so far as of soon to be June 1st?
Right. Well, so far, we are probably in the 25 to 30 programs. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but these are primarily, up to this point, existing paramedic programs that we've tried to provide an abridged version of the self-study, right? So they're submitting an abridged application, and depending on where they fall in the accreditation process, we don't want to have an undue burden of extra cost and extra time and effort that they have to put in. So, for example, if you just came through your paramedic program and just been accredited, and you've got another 5-year window where you don't come up for 5 years, we're going to look at that abridged application and say, okay, Bill, you filled this out. Everything looks good. We've done a virtual site visit and talked with you about that, but everything looks pretty good to go. We'll sync that site visit up with your paramedic program 5 years from now. So we're not going to be doing sending two people for 2 days to just look at the advanced EMT program with your existing paramedic program. Not till it's time.
That's good. So that's doesn't double the resource demands.
Yeah, reduce the cost, if you will,
costs,
to do that.
Yeah. So obviously, though, an AEMT program does not have to be affiliated with the paramedic program in order to get accreditation. They can do it independent of a paramedic program.
Absolutely not. And so, as you well know, with 800, nearly or over 800 paramedic programs right now, we have programs operated by the federal government. So in the military, we have hospital-based programs. We have city or county fire departments. We have city or county EMS agencies. We have some private for-profit schools. We have certainly the biggest group of programs that we have are colleges, junior colleges, technical schools, or universities. We even have one international program that is based in a university setting. So these are all sponsorship requirements that CAHAP has. But again, I don't think that constrains any of these advanced EMT programs. they still have the same pathway.
Excellent. So where can perhaps some AEMT instructors, program directors go to find out more about accreditation?
Yeah, I think you could go to our website. We have a special advanced EMT or AEMT tab on the homepage. You can click on that. It's got all of the information about cost. It's got all of the information about the application process. It has all of the information about what you would need to do, and perhaps even like timelines, how might that look if you were trying to do this. But I would also say people want to be able to plan accordingly. This is not something that typically you fill out on a weekend, send it in on a Monday, and hope that we're going to have this all checked off so you could start school
The following week.
It won't happen like that. So you do need to plan accordingly.
Okay, good. Well, as always, we at the National Registry appreciate the partnership with CoAEMSP, with you specifically, and look forward to continued success with paramedic, but also with the new AEMT. And we'll have to have you back for some more episodes to talk about how it's going.
Yeah, I hope we'll see a lot of success in that. We're really excited about it. So again, thanks for everything that the registry does. And Bill, thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for joining me.
All right.
And as always, thank you for joining us, and please do stay safe. Thank you for joining us for this episode. If you wouldn't mind, please click the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notifications so you can get notifications about upcoming episodes. Also, for the latest and greatest happenings of the National Registry, feel free to go to nremt.org. Thank you very much. And again, stay safe.